Larger target areas help users with imprecise motor skills navigate web content effectively. In this unit, we're looking into success criterion 2.5.8, which explains target size minimum. I'll detail the intent of this criterion and what it actually means, explain the impact to the user, the criterion addresses, some ways it could be passed, ways it won't, and follow with the summary of what you need to do to pass. By the end of the unit, you'll have a solid understanding of why it matters, understand the user's impact, and how to pass the criterion. 2.5.8 target size minimum is a criterion supporting users with imprecise or unsteady pointer mobility. To pass, you need to ensure target sizes for pointer input are at least 24 by 24 pixels. Where the target size is less than 24 by 24 pixels, it's positioned so there is at least 24 pixels between it and an adjacent target. There is an equivalent control on the page that passes the criterion. Where the target is in a sentence, this is exempted by the line height of the non-target text. And lastly, when the target size is determined by the browser and is not modified by the author, there is no requirement. Users with dexterity limitations and reduced fine motor movement can find it difficult to accurately activate small targets when there are other targets that are close by. Providing sufficient size or spacing between targets will reduce the likelihood of accidentally activating the wrong control. Additionally, some people with disabilities use specialized input devices instead of a computer mouse or trackpad. Typically, these types of input device do not provide as much accuracy as mainstream pointing devices. So we know the problem the criterion attempts to solve, but what is the impact to a user? This is Alex. He has cerebral palsy and has difficulty using his hands and speaking clearly. He is determined to do things for himself and is fiercely independent, but finds the design trend of some websites with making the target sizes of buttons small means he often makes mistakes. The criterion requires the interactive area for pointer elements, so things like buttons and links, must be at least 24 by 24 pixels to pass. When the interactive area is less than 24 by 24 pixels, it's considered undersized. However, this criterion can still pass if there is sufficient spacing between adjacent targets. On undersized target areas, when a circle of 24 by 24 pixels is drawn around the target, centered in the middle, it doesn't overlap with another target. But that isn't to say all controls must have 24 by 24 pixel target sizes. A few exceptions exist. If native HTML controls are used, as is with no styling applied, this will pass the criterion. Whilst the target size area may be smaller than 24 by 24 pixels, this size is defined by the browser, not the author. However, once a style is introduced on those controls, they are no longer exempted. Interactive elements constrained by the line height of paragraph text, such as links, are also exempt from this criterion. Because if the link target size was increased, it would disrupt the line spacing and impact readability, and so this scenario is exempt from the requirement. So what exactly does passing this success criterion look like? Several on-screen buttons have at least a target size of 24 by 24 pixels. Since the target size is a minimum of 24 by 24 pixels, this passes. Links within paragraph text do not meet the 24 by 24 pixel requirement. Since the links are contained in a paragraph, the minimum dimensions are exempt and this passes. Several unstyled checkbox and radio button controls have a target size of less than 24 by 24 pixels. Since these are unmodified native HTML controls, this passes. What does failing this success criterion look like? Several on-screen buttons have a target size of 20 by 20 pixels with no gap between adjacent buttons. Since the interactive area of the target overlaps adjacent interactive targets, this fails. Users with dexterity limitations and fine motor movement have difficulty activating smaller target sizes. When the target size is increased, it's less likely incorrect target activations occur because a greater allowance is provided on the target and between other targets. The minimum target size for this criterion is a fully enclosed target area of 24 by 24 pixels. Native, unauthored HTML elements are exempt from this criterion. The size is controlled by the browser, yet when an authored style is introduced, if the dimensions are less than 24 by 24 pixels, then it fails. Smaller touch sizes are permitted so long as the target size and gap between itself and adjacent target equals 24 pixels minimum. Ensure target sizes are a minimum of 24 by 24 pixels. Where the target size is less than 24 by 24 pixels, ensure the target size and gap between itself and adjacent target is 24 pixels. In the next unit, I'll look at 3.2.6 Consistent Help, a single A criterion which discusses techniques for establishing a consistently located help.